What should be one of the most important items on your regular to-do list is running full backups of both your files and database of your WordPress sites. This is very important because, heck, even if you're a WordPress security ninja master, if the right person wants to hack your site, they will get in. And when they do, if you have a full backup of your files and database, then you are much better off because you can then just delete everything and reinstall from your clean, full backups. This video will show you how to fully backup and restore your broken WordPress site, and we're going to do it in under 5 minutes. So let me just demonstrate first off that we have a fully functional WordPress site. Now, granted, there's not a lot to it. It's newly installed, and this does have a lot to do with the amount of time it's going to take. So yeah, the 5-minute ticker is based on a very small site. In other words, if you've got a 5 gigabyte database, then it's going to take longer than 5 minutes. If you've got a slow internet connection, it probably is going to take a little longer than 5 minutes. If you have both a slow internet connection and a 5 gigabyte database, then it's going to take a heck of a lot longer than 5 minutes. So I'm still going to do this video to show you how easy it can be done, and I'm going to do it in less than 5 minutes. So we click on the sample page. Ta-da, it's working. Homepage. Ta-da, it's working. Now, and we want to go into our cPanel control panel. We need to get a zip file of all the contents of our WordPress directory, and we need to get a backup of our database. We do that through the phpMyAdmin. But first, I want to pull in my timer here so that we can do this in under 5 minutes. Go ahead and click on that and go. Let's get the database first. We click on phpMyAdmin, and we want to make sure we are backing up the database that pertains to the WordPress site we're going to be backing up. And I know it's this guy here, so we select on that. And it shows all the tables. Go to Export. Go. All this is fine, just the default settings. Navigate to where we want it to be downloaded to. And I would go ahead and put it in a folder that is dated. That way you know that this and the other backup we're about to do is related to one another. And frankly, I'd only keep like 3 of them, the most recent 2, and then the new one. Delete the 4th one, the 4th oldest one, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that we got that backed up, I'm going to leave this open. Come on back to our cPanel. Come on up to the File Manager. And these here are just other folders or other directories, have nothing to do with this WordPress install. This one does, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom here, holding the holding the Shift key on my keyboard down, and then select the bottom file, and that selects everything. Or you could just click on this guy here to select everything, and then come up here and click on Compress. And before I click on Compress Files, I'm going to give it a different name. This time I'm going to name this one Today's Date. Then compress. And again, this is time based on how big your site is. And there it is right there. We want to download this to our directory, ideally in the same location where that database is so that we know where everything is. And since this is also going to be required to be uploaded to make this full demonstration, no need to waste the time in the downloading and the uploading, because it's going to come back here in a second because I'm about to break the site here just to demonstrate how to fix it. So let's just pretend that I've downloaded it and that I've also uploaded it. But let's go ahead and come on back to the site. Now that we've got our backup done, we've got this all zipped up and downloaded, and we've got the database all zipped up and downloaded. Now we come on back to the site here. I'm going to go into the dashboard area. Oh wait, nope, let's come to the cPanel. That's what I want to do. Go back into the File Manager, where I was, and go to the config file. Let's go ahead and open this up. Code editor. I guess I could do this for just about anything, but I'm just going to grab that and delete it. That should do some damage. And then save changes. And then get that out of there. Come on back here. Refresh. And yep, it's definitely broken. Now then, to repair. Let's come on back in here, because we don't know what broke, right? So we want to first upload our clean database. So we come in here and we want to select all these tables. We want to get rid of them. Come on in here and drop them. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes. Now we want to upload and install our clean database. Import, select the one we just downloaded earlier. That's this guy right here. Come on down here and click on Go. Give it a second. Again, it's time based on how big your database is. And there we are. Okay, database fixed. Come on back in here. Go to File Manager, which is this one right here. And now then, let's again pretend that we've uploaded this guy here. And we want to make sure it's selected. Come up here and extract. And it'll overwrite all these other guys here. Extract. Bing, bang, boom. Done. Now then we can delete this because everything's fixed, right? Hopefully. Fingers crossed. And come on back to our site here. Refresh. And we're back to normal. And that is how you can back up both files and database, how you can break your site, hopefully you don't need to do that, and how you can actually restore everything from those original backups. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on backing up and restoring and breaking your WordPress site. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. One of the ways a hacker will attempt to break into your WordPress site is by trying to guess your administration login username and password. Now they'll do this by using a software program that can guess hundreds of possibilities in minutes. And if you're not using strong usernames or unguessable passwords, then your site's about to be hacked. They call this a brute force attack. In some cases, the sheer number of guesses the hacker software is allowed to go through can put such a load on your server's resources that your hosting company might even shut your site down. Now, even though the shutdown might be temporary, your site is still down, and this is not a good thing. In addition to having strong usernames and passwords, you also need to be able to prevent the brute force attack from happening at all. Luckily, it's super simple and can be taken care of with the installation and activation of a free plugin. There are several plugins that will make it difficult to brute force attack your site, but this one is simple and lightweight, meaning it does not suck up tons of your server's resources nor slow your site down. The name of this plugin is Limit Login Attempts. Yep, I think the name says it all. So let's go ahead and log into our dashboard area and install this plugin. Once you're logged in, then you come on over here to the dashboard area, or actually you want to come on down to the plugins area so we can install a new plugin. But before we get things rolling, let me go ahead and pull in my timer here so I can show you just how fast we can do this. Go and get the timer started. Come on over here to plugins, click on Add New, and we're going to install the Limit Login Attempts plugin. Yep, right there. And click on Search Plugins, and it should be the top one that pops up here. Yep, right there. Click on Install Now, click on OK. And once it's installed, we want to activate it. Just click that link there. And once it's activated, come on down here to the Settings panel. Come on down to the new link that's been installed. That's the Limit Login Attempts link. Click on that. And here are the settings. Now then, since I've been playing with this, there's my IP address right there. By default, there's not going to be anything there, and this is not going to show up because, well, there's nothing to reset. But the other items in here are pretty well okay just the way they are. You can adjust them, the number of allowed retries, so if somebody screws up 4 times and tries to do it on a 5th time, they're locked out, and it will show them in a red box right above the login that you've got 19 minutes or 20 minutes before the next login attempt will be working. And if after 4 of these lockouts have happened, they're going to be logged out, or locked out rather, for 24 hours. Frankly, myself, I would change this to like 700 some odd hours. I don't want them back, because if they are a legitimate login or a legitimate user and they just simply screwed up 16 times, I mean, then something's wrong there. They're trying something fishy. So really, in my experience, if they've been unable to log in for 3 or 4 times, they're going to send me an email. Now, if that has not happened, then it just tells me they're probably not a legitimate user. So yeah, I would definitely bump this up to enough hours to where they're not going to bother me again. And the other thing that I would adjust is right here. I would like to be notified by email if after a certain number of logouts or lockouts have taken place. the email that they're going to send this to is the administration email that's set up in your WordPress install. And obviously with this box ticked here, the IPs of those that have failed to log in are going to show up down here. And that's basically it. Now, if for some odd reason you have, as the administrator, not remembered your password or you screwed something up, let me show you what happens. Let me get this guy out of the way here. Let's go ahead and log out and then try to log in with something other than what's proper. And try this now. And there, you see, you get this box that pops up, and you've got 3 more attempts before it really messes things up. So if you can't remember your administrator login credentials in 4 attempts, well, you probably ought to just give up altogether. But if you want to, you can go into your cPanel or FTP account and just kind of disengage that plugin. Come on down to File Manager, look for that plugin and just rename it. And that's in the WP-content directory. Open that up. In the plugins directory, open that up. And right here, just rename it. I just put a number or something after the end of it, like 1. Just basically change the name of it. And then come on back here, refresh, continue, and then you just type in the actual username, because you can see that you're not limited by the time factor anymore. But as soon as you activate that plugin again by renaming it back to the way it should be, then the remainder of that amount of time is going to be ticking down. And that's it. That's how you can get back in if you forget your own stuff as an administrator, and that's how you can block out the bad guys and gals from attempting to brute force attack your site using the simple plugin called Limit Login Attempts. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. Sometimes securing your WordPress site can be as simple as installing a plugin. But after that plugin's installed, you're left scratching your head wondering how to configure the settings on the darn thing. Now, some of these security plugins can be a total headache if you check the wrong box or you click on the wrong button. Poof, your site can go up in smoke. So this video is going to show you how to configure the powerful and free iThemes security plugin. Now, before we install and activate the plugin, since it is a powerful plugin, we need to first do a full backup of our site, both files and database. Okay, so we've already got that out of the way. Now then, we want to log into our dashboard area. Come on down here to Plugins, Add New, and we're going to install and activate the iThemes security plugin. So up here in the Search Plugins box, type in iThemes Security, and then hit Enter. And it should be one of the first results that pop up right here. Click on Install Now and Activate Plugin. And as soon as you do that, you'll get these 2 items that pop up here at the top, and over here in the left sidebar, you'll get a new set of links. Under Security, you'll get Dashboard, Settings, Advanced, Backups, Logs, and some additional help documentation. And if you like the free version, you might want to go Pro, and you can do so very easily by just clicking on that link. Now, the iThemes Security plugin has a whole lot of things that you can do, but only a few things that you have to do. And we're going to stick primarily to the few things that you have to do. One item that we're not going to really get too deep into is this first one up here, the iThemes Brute Force Network Protection. I am going to go ahead and click on the Get Free API key. That's going to take us into the dashboard, and this is going to pop up. Now, before you start going through these buttons here, let's go ahead and get out of this. Let's go ahead and check out that iThemes Brute Force Protection real quick. We're in the Settings tab, and we just scroll down a bit. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Banned user brute force. Right here we are. And all you have to do, of course, read all this stuff over here, but all you have to do is enter your email address in here and then click on Save All Changes, and the free API key will automatically be populated inside of here. So that's really all you have to do to get and activate the iThemes Brute Force Protection. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's come on back up to the top and click on Show Intro in the top right corner. That's going to pop up these 4 questions again. The very first item it's going to show you here is to make a backup. Now this is just for the database files, not the image files, the video files, anything else that might be in, like for example, your media library. So you definitely want to do this, but if anything goes wrong, you've got that full backup that you did prior to even activating this plugin. Now before we start getting into these 4 items here, because really these are the items that have to be done, everything else is the could be done thing. I want to first come on back here to the dashboard and show you what the iTheme security plugin has found as high priority, medium priority, and low priority fixes. Now, if it were a perfect world, you would not have any of these items showing up here, high, medium, or low priorities. They'd all be fixed. But depending upon the scripts that you have running on your site, the plugins and whatnot, some of these items under medium and low priority are just going to have to be left alone, because if you try to fix them, they may break your site. And if you do, not to worry, because you've got that full backup that you can reinstall and get your site right back to the way it was prior to clicking on that Fix It button. But you should remove all of the items, or most all of the items, in the high priority section. Now, I purposely installed this WordPress site using admin as a username, which is a big no-no. You never want to do that, and that's the very first item that iTheme Security has pulled up. Simply click on the Fix It button, and it gives you a nice little warning message here of what to do before you go any further. Check this box here, enter the new username, check this box as well to move you out of the number 1 user slot on the database, which is also a security issue, and move you into the next available. Of course, this being a new site, the next available would be the number 2 user slot. Be sure and have your password handy, because this will log you out as soon as you click on Save Admin User. But let's go ahead and come on back to the dashboard. And I just wanted to show you right off the bat these 5 items that iTheme Security found by default. Let's come on back to that initial pop-up, click on Show Intro, and we'll do the backup here. Again, that's just for the database files. We'll click on this button here to allow file updates. That's going to tweak the wp-config and the .htaccess file that will allow iTheme Security to write to those files. And this is the big guy right here, the one-click secure. Clicking on this button will take care of a majority of the security issues on your site. Don't blink. There. That's how fast it was. And if you want to allow iTheme's security plugin to collect anonymous data to help them make their plugin better, then go and click on this button as well. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this out, because basically we're done. We've done the few items that need to be done, and I'm going to leave the bunch of items that can be done to you. But I do want to scroll down a bit and show you that the majority of those high priority items are already taken care of. The admin user, we know we can take care of that by clicking on Fix It. Have your password handy, because you will be logged out. And it shows here that the site is not performing any scheduled backups. You can click on Fix It and it will do that for you, but these are only the database files that are being backed up, which is better than nothing. But you should still have some type of a backup process in play that will back up your files as well as your database. A good plugin for that, and there's a bunch of them, but a good free plugin for that is called Back WP Up. Now, if you come on back up here to the top and go to Settings, this is one tab that you really want to get familiar with, and it could take you some time, but go through these. Most all of these are self-explanatory. One that I did want to point out, if we scroll down here about midway, is doing a quick malware check. Right, here we go, malware scanning. Just click on this button right here, and it'll scan your site for malware right off the bat. And if all is well, then you'll get a couple of green marks here in just a second. There we are. And I just want to point that out as a cool feature that iTheme Security plugin has. So go on down the line here, check out the items that you want. And my suggestion is that whenever you take care of a major fix, go ahead and test your site, make sure that all the links are working, everything's still working. Do a backup at that point, so if the next item that you decide to fix breaks your site, then you would have already had all those other previous fixes that you know did not break your site still in play with that most recent backup. And that's it. That's going to cover the things that have to be done in securing your site with the iTheme Security plugin. The rest of the things that can be done, I'm going to leave that up to you. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. One of the ways that a hacker can break into your site is by them knowing the vulnerabilities in both the older versions of WordPress and some of the files within even the current versions of WordPress. So one way to minimize these vulnerabilities is to keep your WordPress files, plugins, and themes up to date. But maybe you've got a client that wants to keep an older version of WordPress for whatever reason they have. Then you want to make sure that no one can see this site has an older and more vulnerable version of WordPress on it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to prevent the version number from showing up, as well as the removal of some of the files that are not needed to keep your WordPress site working that might pose a vulnerability threat. So first off, let's go ahead and show you where those version numbers might show up at. Now I'm in a Firefox browser, so if you're on a different browser, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, then what I'm about to show you might look a little bit different. But just right click, come on down here to view page source and left click on that. And this is the code that makes a WordPress site do what it does. So I'm going to Control F to get that find box that pops up. And the current version that I'm working with right now is 4.3.1. So I want to see how many of those numbers pop up. So I'm going to type in this find box down here, 4.3.1, and we see that that string of numbers shows up 7 times throughout here. So the version number is popping up here 7 different times. We want to get rid of those without breaking our site. Let's get rid of this. And there's an easy way and a hard way. The hard way is to add code like this to the bottom of your functions.php file within the theme that you're using. And I'm not going to go into that because then we got to go into how to create a child theme and all kinds of other stuff that just goes way beyond the scope of this video. So let's keep it simple and still get the job done. We can do that with a plugin. So let's log into our admin area of our WordPress site. Come on down here to plugins, go to add new, and in the search box, type in Meta Generator, and it should be one of the top results that pop up right here, Meta Generator and Version Info Remover. Click on Install Now, and then activate plugin. And as soon as that happens, it just did its job. It just removed those version numbers from showing up. But there's a little more to it than that. If we come over here to Settings, then click on the Meta Generator link, that'll bring us to the settings page for that plugin. Now, since this is a brand new installation of WordPress, it's not required at all. But if you have a seasoned site, one that's got a lot of stuff, a lot of plugins, maybe a lot of content, then there might be some scripts there that require that version number for them to function, in which case you want to keep this plugin from affecting them. And you do that just like it says here by putting in their file names right here, separated by commas. Then come on down here and click on Save Changes. I have not made any changes, so I don't need to save anything, but I do want to come back to the site here, refresh, and then right click, then left click on page source, do a Control F again, and then type in 4.3.1. And you can see that it doesn't show up at all. It has effectively removed all of those and has not damaged the site. The site still works just fine and dandy. Only the hackers, when they come to see the source code, are not going to know what version number this is. So that's how you can prevent the version number from showing up on older versions of WordPress. Now, of course, this being a brand new version of WordPress, it's not necessary because more than likely all the vulnerabilities have already been plugged with this new version. Anyway, one last thing I want to cover in this video is removal of the trash, or what I call trash files, that really play no part in your site whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get rid of them just in case they may pose a threat down the line. So I'm doing this in the cPanel control panel under the file manager. You can do the same thing through an FTP client, but we log into the root directory of our WordPress site, and there's a couple of files right here, the README and the license. And I select one, hold the control key down on my keyboard to select multiple files. And if you still have it, get rid of it, that being the wp-config-sample. Make sure that it's one that ends in -sample, because the wp-config file is an important file you don't want to delete. So let's go ahead and select the one -sample. Come on up here, click on delete. Are you sure? Yes. And then come on up here to wp-admin folder or directory. Open that up and scroll down. Select the install-helper and the install.php files. Since obviously we have WordPress installed, we don't need those files any longer. Click on delete, and we are golden. We are good to go. So all of those vulnerabilities have been taken care of. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.